Good morning and what's up, everybody? This is Al, Fishing with Big Al. Welcome to the channel, Fish On, baby. Alright, so we up this morning and thought I'd come out and do like a little presentation video as far as how and what you should do when you fish in the jetties. I said we get a lot of people that come down and they fish, but a lot of them, for the most part, they never fish jetties. Myself included. Once upon a time, I was in the same boat as you. I didn't understand the jetty. I looked at it as using a heavy weight, trying to fish it, and I thought that was the best way that you do it. And then I learned over the years that that really wasn't one of your best ways of doing it. So I kind of learned, and I had somebody that schooled me. This goes all the way back to when I first got down here in 2007. I was still using 6-ounce weights for the most part, and fishing in areas where I had to use that type of tackle. And you would think coming here that would be the same option, that you have to use heavy tackle, but it's not the case. Such as 6 ounces, I use them when I go to the surf, I put it that way. But when I'm fishing a jetty, it's totally different. I use light tackle, and we'll work our way into the best aspect in order for you to have the best success. Because a lot of people, when they fish it, what their main objective is, they don't want to lose tackle. So they'll cast out far, and that's good. Like where I'm at right now, there's nobody around me. So I look to my left, look to my right, I got all this open area right here. I have this whole lane to myself. If I cast out to the middle though, right? Now let's say I'm using this setup right here, which is a knocker rig setup that I'm using. If I'm using this setup and I cast it out to the middle, then what's going to happen is, because the water's pushing from left to right, then what I'm going to do is wind up going from left to right, and I'm going to be dragging. So instead of my line sitting out there in the middle where I cast it at, it's going to move all the way down. It's going to move all the way down. This is when I'm talking about when you're fishing and you have more than one person at the jetty, such as what we have now. I can put the camera on, and you can see down at the end how packed it is. It's very packed. But everybody fishing on the surf side today, nobody really fishing channel side. But if they were fishing channel side, that would be a problem. You're going to have people that are going to come down, and when they cast, they're going to cast out into the middle. And when that happens, unless you're at the very end, the very end of the jetty, that is the only way that it makes sense when you say you want to cast out far. But anything that's in between that, where you come in on the inside of that, and you're on the left side of all your fishermen, and you're casting out to the middle, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be obstructing a lot of people's casts, and your line is going to drift, and it's going to be getting tangled. And that does happen, such as what took place with me the other day. That's why I'm making this video, because you have people that, you know, you don't want to just walk up to them and start talking to them and telling them what to do, because we're all grown, and people want to feel free to do it how they want to do it. But for the most part, what you don't want to do is lose tackle, and you don't want to get a lot of lines tangled. So, especially when you're using braid, this right here is an accident waiting to happen. If I get this tangled up, the majority of the time, man, if we can't free it up, I just cut it and get it over with. But that being said, those were the times that used to happen when I used to be that same fisherman. Now, what we do is, I use this setup, which is basically a knocker rig, right? This is good for like when for flounder, when I'm fishing for a sheep's head, when the sheep's head run come in, this is perfect, because when this is a sheep's head run, sheep's head are very active, and once they're here and they're active, your line isn't going to be out long enough for yourself to get hung up, right? But a lot of times when you're just out here fishing on days where it's dragging and there's nothing happening, let's say you're using a Carolina rig setup, and I can show you real quick. A Carolina rig setup is something like this. You see all that? That is the line that is hanging, right? Let's see. That is the line that's hanging with a Carolina rig. If you come down here, that's a knocker rig, right? That's right on top of the weight, on top of the hook. When you use the Carolina rig, what happens is when that line hits that water, and if there's no action, nothing's happening, well, that current is dragging and it's pulling your Carolina rig, that leader that you're using, and what's going to happen is it's going to wind up dragging itself underneath the rocks, and then when you pull it up, you're going to be hung up. That's the majority of the time of what happens when you use a Carolina rig. I don't really like to use them when I'm fishing in the channel. I use them in the surf side right? I use it in the surf side, but I don't like using it too much in the channel because the channel's gonna move, man. It's either gonna go left or it's gonna go right. In between, you're gonna have a slack tide. That's the only time it doesn't move, but other than that, it's always moving. So that is why you want to make sure you set yourself up where you don't have no problem with losing a lot of tackle. I can tell you this, when I'm using this knocker rig setup, pretty much 65 to 75% of the days that I'm using it, I rarely lose any tackle. I can't say that I don't never get hung up. I'd be wrong if I said that. But I will be truthful and tell you that I don't lose as much tackle when I'm using this rig setup and compared to the Carolina rig. The other thing you can do is when you're doing your cast, a lot of fishermen want to cast. They want to throw it. And nothing wrong with that. I mean, we all do it. We all do it. But when you're fishing the jetty, you pretty much, I'll give you an idea of what I do when I'm out here. And like I said, you're grown, you can do it how you want to do it. But like I said, I rarely lose any tackle, and I barely get tangled up in anybody's line because there are fish, not too much in this area, but when you're going down to the end down there, which is where I like to fish, when you go down to the end, my casts are short. And since I know the water's moving, that is my cast right out in front of me, just like that. And I'm giving myself enough room to not drift as far as I should. Right? The only reason I'm bringing it in because I don't have anything on it. I don't want to take a chance of getting hung up. Like I said, it's not in stone that it won't happen, but I have a better chance of not getting hung up. I don't want to do it here because there's more rock in this area where I'm doing my video. But when I go down to the end, I got openings down there where I fish, and I toss it out no more than 20 to 25 yards in front of me, and I use like a size. This right here is like a maybe 1 1/4, something like that, and slip weight. And when it goes down, it usually comes right back. It comes right back down, and it's right in front of me. And believe me, man, I catch mangrove, I catch reds, I catch flounder, I hit trout, sheepshead when the sheepshead are in, some of everything. And when you see my videos, a lot of times you don't see the part where I'm actually casting it. But believe me, when you see me reeling them in, a lot of times it's right against the rocks. That's where I fish. Only time I throw it out far is when I know we got the red run going, right? If there's a bunch of reds out there and they're really running and we spot them, then yeah, we spot casting on them. But other than that, when I know I'm setting up just to throw and fish the bottom, then yeah, I usually go with the knocker rig setup. And if I do a Carolina, I'll go no more than maybe 6 to 7 inches on my leader. That's it. And I use like a 20 to 25 pound fluorocarbon on the end of it, on the tail end. And a size 2 to a size 3 circle hook is what I use with a single swivel clamp, as you can see right here. Single swivel clamp, and it does not stop any action. I still get action with my fish. And a lot of times, if the knocker rig does get hung up, you can pull it out. All you do is pop it a couple of times, free yourself. And I don't have any problem with that. So, again, when you are fishing the jetties, and if you're going down to the end and you're fishing the jetty side, meaning this side I'm facing right now, a lot of times your best option, wherever you're setting up shop, right, especially if you go down to the end, if you know you're not at the very end, it's beneficial when you just short cast 25 to 30 yards in front of you. Like I said, use this size weight, right, which is probably like a 1 1/4, maybe an 1.5 ounces, maybe. And I use a single swivel clamp. And I just cast it right in front of me, 25 to 30 yards, let it drop. If the water's too rough, then it's gonna let you know. You'll understand that, and you'll say, okay, I can't use this area for this setup. I mean, it'll make sense to you when not to use it and when to do it. If I was down there, since there's nobody over there, I'll try it and see what I can do, because quiet is kept. Everybody's fishing on the surf side, right? But on the channel side, I would be down there. That is what I would target first. And I would target in there, because when that water's like this, you'd be surprised. There's a lot of fish, there's a lot of action still going on. But you know, everybody's fishing on the surf side this morning. But me, myself, I would be down there fishing on that channel side and using my knocker rig setup. And pretty much, either I'm going to go down to the very end, I'm going to come in far enough that I can get, you know, still stay stable, and then let my line do its job. Let that weight do its job. So, again, with that said, man, knocker rig setup, one of my best go-to methods. when I'm fishing the channel and casting 20 to 25, maybe 30 yards in front of me. Let it come back in with an ounce and a half to 2 ounce slip weight on the end with the single swivel clamp, and then I just let it drift. Let it drop right back down in front of me. And a lot of times, man, I rarely get hung up. And like I said, there's a lot of action. So with that said, I'm out. I hope that works out for y'all. And fish on, baby. Tight lines. Enjoy yourself. God bless. Peace.